Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Bachelor star Nick Viall reveals wife Natalie Joy has suffered third devastating miscarriage. He sat down on his own and hosted the podcast solo as he revealed the sad news. Nick gained fame through his appearances on The Bachelorette and as The Bachelor himself, with him meeting his wife through Instagram years later. He married his wife Natalie in April 2024 after 4 years of dating, with them going on to welcome a child just months before tying the knot. The 44-year-old reality star has now revealed his wife endured her third pregnancy loss this year. He made the heartbreaking revelation in the latest episode of his podcast, The Viall Files. Natalie, 26, who usually sits beside her husband when the podcast is being filmed, was absent from this episode. Opening his podcast, Nick addressed Natalie's unusual absence, saying, "As you can see, Natalie is not with us. There's no really easy way to talk about this." He then got candid with his listeners as he revealed the heartbreaking news. Nick opened up and said, "Sadly, Natalie experienced another miscarriage. It is her third this year, our third this year. There's no really good way to say it, it fing sucks." Nick continued, "She's obviously at home resting, healing, both physically and emotionally." The couple are parents to their 1-year-old daughter River Rose, who was born 2 months before they got married. Natalie first suffered a miscarriage in January of this year before enduring a second pregnancy loss just 2 months later. Nick explained to his listeners, "When it happens the first time, the doctors and everyone kind of acknowledge that, while terrible, this is something that can happen. And everyone's just, don't freak out, there's nothing wrong, it sadly can be a part of this process." Nick went on, "And then it happened the second time, obviously we have a lot of amazing blessings in our life. First and foremost being River, minus some morning sickness and things like that. We were very lucky to have a fairly easy pregnancy. Really no complications, which was such an amazing blessing. Despite what's going on right now with us, our doctor keeps reminding us that that is the best sign of our future ability to grow our family." He then spoke of how the couple now feel uneasy. "But right now, obviously, there's a little bit of uneasiness," he said candidly. "It's far less normal to have 2 and 3 back-to-back. Now we're kind of in that very scary process of running tests and finding out more about ourselves. And it's like this weird thing of you want them to find something, but you don't want them to find something. Because if they find something, you don't know what that means. We're in this kind of very uncharted territory of fact-finding, which sucks," he said. Nick also said, "I really just wanted to be transparent with you guys, 'cause I know she wasn't there yesterday. People started to notice, and we're already getting messages with a lot of concern. So overall, Natalie is doing okay physically and healing, and she's okay in that respect and emotionally. The cameras have been rolling for 43 days straight, and yet Daniel Cross still couldn't tell where the scripted romance ended and the real thing began. America had met him as The Bachelor, a 32-year-old ex-pro baseball player with dimples deep enough to swallow a whole sunset. The producers called him America's boyfriend, but Daniel often wondered if they'd prefer to call him America's puppet. Every morning began with a perfectly steamed shirt, a carefully staged coffee cup, and an endless chorus of "Daniel, can you say that again, but slower, and with more feeling?" He had signed up for the show for all the reasons people publicly swore they wouldn't: the fame, the attention, the opportunity to be remembered for more than striking out in the World Series. And yet, somewhere between rose ceremonies and candlelit rooftop dinners, something unexpected happened. Her name was Ivy Hart. Ivy wasn't the frontrunner. She didn't fling herself into his arms like some of the others, didn't fill silences with giggles or dramatic gasps for airtime. She had a quiet way about her, a gaze that seemed to read entire chapters of his soul in a single glance. In week 3, while the others fought over who got the most champagne, Ivy sat cross-legged on the terrace, sipping tea and reading a novel whose spine was falling apart. The producers didn't like Ivy at first. "She's too understated," one of them told Daniel between takes. "We need fire, tension, jealousy. Not tea?" But Daniel kept finding excuses to be around her. When they filmed the cooking date with 6 other contestants, he burned his hand flipping crepes just to have an excuse to stand next to her at the sink. When they shot the beach volleyball scene, he kept glancing at her between serves, as though her smile was the scoreboard he really cared about. By week 6, Ivy had a following online. The fan hashtags had started, #TeamOfI. People wrote essays about her authentic energy and real connection with Daniel. The producers noticed. Suddenly, she was given more screen time, more dramatic background music, more perfectly timed camera zooms on her reactions. But with the attention came the whispers. Another contestant, Clarissa, a model with an endless wardrobe of sequined gowns, claimed Ivy wasn't there for love. "She's got a boyfriend back home," Clarissa hissed during a group interview, eyes glistening with the thrill of sabotage. Daniel heard the rumor, but didn't ask Ivy about it. Maybe he was afraid of the answer. The final week of filming came faster than Daniel had expected. Only 2 contestants remained, Ivy and Clarissa. The producers planned the finale in a cliffside villa in Santorini, the ocean a blue so piercing it almost hurt to look at. They told Daniel to keep his choice secret until the very last moment, even from the crew. The night before the proposal, Ivy asked to see him without cameras, against the rules, but Daniel agreed. They met by the infinity pool at midnight, the water reflecting the moon like liquid silver. "I need to tell you something," Ivy said, her voice steady but her hands trembling. Daniel's heart thudded. "Tell me." She looked down at the water. Clarissa wasn't lying. "I did have someone back home. We were together when I came here, but I didn't tell you because I didn't want it to cloud." "Cloud what?" His voice cracked. She looked up, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Cloud this, whatever this is, whatever we are. But somewhere along the way, it stopped being a game for me, Daniel. I didn't expect to care about you like this. I thought I could keep my heart safe. I was wrong." Daniel stared at her, torn between the script in his head and the truth in front of him. The producers would want betrayal. They'd want shock, rejection, a slow-motion walk-off to dramatic piano music. But standing there, he didn't feel betrayed. He felt terrified, because he realized that the show might end tomorrow, but his feelings wouldn't. The finale day dawned with a sky so clear it felt staged. Daniel stood in a charcoal suit, holding the final rose, cameras circling him like vultures waiting for the kill shot. Clarissa arrived first, in a gown that looked like it had been spun from the night sky itself. She spoke of fate, of how they were meant to be, of how America would adore them together. Then came Ivy, in a simple white dress that brushed against the stone pathway like whispered apologies. Daniel's monologue was supposed to be rehearsed. He was supposed to build suspense, tell one woman she wasn't the one, then turn to the other for the fairy tale ending. But as he looked into Ivy's eyes, the lines dissolved.